Let's start with the build. It does say what we're going to need is a battery, receiver, remote receiver, transmitter, swash plate leveler, digital pitch gauge, multi-function voltmeter. I don't know why we'll really need that, but we'll get this going here. So, alright, first thing we're going to work on is the head. So let me pop that out of the bag here. Alright. And that part number, bag number 250 HH14. I don't see a 14 here, but this has to be it. So, okay. So what we're gonna need here is we're gonna definitely need Loctite. I have these little parts trays when I buy stuff. Trays, I use them for Loctite. We need some grease here. I have some Traxxas silicone grease I use for my flash truck. And definitely gonna need a hex set. I'm gonna have to find my other hex set because we're gonna have to tighten both bolts on each side. So that's gonna require to get them nice and tightened. And I'll just bring up my screwdriver set. I'll probably need that too. And just lay that on the side here. I'm not sure what this camera is seeing or not seeing, so hopefully everything is in frame. Let's open this bag up. We'll just dump everything out onto the instruction manual. I'll use that as a little tray here. Alright. So here we go. DFC Head. Now isn't that pretty? Something about an all aluminum or all metal head with the DFC, just simple control linkages, just nice and direct. This looks great. So let's leave that aside. Got the swash plate. Oh, look at that little print on there. What's this say? T-Rex 250 DFC Ultralight Extreme 3D Edition swash plate. Nice. Same thing with the swash plate. As any metal part on your kit, disassemble all the joints here that are screwed in, and then put them back on with Loctite. So let's put that aside. Let's put the main shaft aside here. And we'll work with just the linkages for DFC. We can just work with the head, the main rotor hub, and the blade grips here. So I'm going to disassemble this and get this all going. And yeah, this is definitely loose. Let's take these off next. We're going to remove the bun top here. This is a 1.5 mil that I have on here. Was it like 0.5? Let me see if I can find another Allen key set. Alright, let's see what tools it comes with. Then I could probably use those. So let's cut this bag open and let's take a look. What we get in a little accessory tool bag here. The blade grip holders, the blade holders, looks like canopy grommets and some Velcro and some straps. Okay, we got an Allen key, 1.3 mil. 1.3, that's an odd size. This is probably for the top. It's tiny. These tools are tiny. They're kind of cool, I guess, because they're portable. Tweezers, bunch of linkages, screws, ball ends. One linkage here, probably for the tail servo, and washers. And then whatever this is, I don't know what this is. This looks like Loctite. It looks like red Loctite. I don't think I would need, yeah, T22, red, that's red Loctite, I think. Maybe it's just blue in color. I'm actually not gonna use this. I use automotive Loctite. I think Loctite's Loctite, so I don't think it really matters. All right, so let's see if I could get the little button top thing for the rotor head off with the Allen key that's provided. This will be a good test to see what they provide and how much you can actually do with the stuff that they provide. Nope, too small. Let's try the 1.3. Too big. So they don't give you one to take this off, but I'm rotating. It's definitely loose. So that's something to note. You do need an Allen key set, most likely metric, since this is from Taiwan, I believe, aligned to Taiwanese company. Yeah, really. I'll worry about that a little later. Let's take these off here. So I'm just gonna unscrew one side, see which side comes off. I might be turning the whole rod. I am turning both screws, so okay. So I want to keep these screws and everything in order from the way I take it apart, because I'm not sure what will fall out or whatnot. So now this is pre-assembled with the washer and everything in there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna, I don't think I'm gonna bother taking it completely apart. I'm just gonna push out the washer, so I can just get a little bit of grease in there and just kind of make sure it's all nice and greased up. So what I use is sandwich toothpicks. They're nice, pretty thick. I use it to spread glue or other things. So just get a couple of those aside. I'm going to use one of these trays just for grease. So I'll get actually, I'll just put the grease up here. Just get a little bit of grease on there. There's a washer there, so be careful not to lose that. It looks like there is some grease on here already. It's good to have paper towel too. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little more grease in there. This side, I'm just going to push this whole shaft out. There we go. Got the washer on both sides. Still on the shaft for that one. Okay. Basically the whole point of greasing, I just don't want it to, I want it to move as freely as possible, and I want zero binding in there. So I'm just gonna take some of this old grease off. Alright, so let's get a little bit of grease on this. Look at that. It's inscribed a line on here. Actually, after I push one of the blade grips through, so. Okay. Alright, let's get some grease on here. I mean, there's plenty in there, so, but. Actually, I should have put the washer on first. Forgot about the little washer that goes on the outside. It's flat. I don't see any kind of different kind of tread to it or anything, so let's just push that down and get rid of the excess grease. And I'm gonna put a little more on here. because I wiped most of it off. Okay. And don't forget the other little washer. Then the other blade grip. The other washer. Now this washer does have, it's actually on both sides. It's beveled on both sides, but that should be fine. One thing I'm actually going to do is take this out, because I do see grease in here. And I don't want grease inside this thread here, because I want to make sure the Loctite will work. And if there's grease in there, then it'll probably mess things up. So just try to take this and get some of that grease out of there. Slide the blade grip back in. Still see more grease. Alright, put the other washer. Oops. Probably easier if I just use the screw here with it. I just want to drop that thing in there. Actually, I forgot Loctite. Look at that. Alright. Let's get a bit of Loctite in my container. Now you definitely can't put too much Loctite. I'm actually going to wipe this off and try to get this in there without the washer, because I don't want to have Loctite on the washer. I mean, a little bit's okay, I guess, but so let me try to slip this in there first. A little bit of Loctite. The thread is already kind of coated with it. I wiped off most, but still there. I'm gonna switch sides. I don't know if that's coming out on the camera very well, but just give it a little, just give it a tight. So 0 play. These spin real easy. Alright. So I'm gonna have to do something about this. I'll have to find the right Allen key. Even the smallest one on this key set here is 1.5. So I won't be able to put that aside there and move on to the next step. So the next step is to finish up the linkages. It's telling me to put it on the main shaft. I might hold off on that, we'll see. And then it's going to start working on the frame. So let me make sure all the linkages are on and tightened and good. Make sure these are leading your blade, so it's counterclockwise all the time. I think every helicopter, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Logo will be on top, so that's an easy way of telling. But yeah, you want to make sure that this will spin counterclockwise and this will be leading. Same thing for these. When you put these on, you'll notice that there's a line written on them, and you want to make sure those are out facing too. So you don't want to, I guess there's really only one way to put them on, if you leave the bolts on there. I'm going to take the bolt off, grease a little, and then put it back on, making sure I don't lose any washers or anything. Actually, there's a good amount of grease on there now. I mean, they spin, it spins perfectly freely. I'm just going to put them on. I think it'll be fine. So, oops. A little bit of Loctite. I'll start threading by hand, make sure I got a good connection. And a lot of things I learned from one of the YouTube videos I always watch. Freddy Can Fly, Freddy Cordova, I believe his name is. to tighten them, back it out, make sure there's Loctite on it, on the threads, and then put them back in. He says this is the proper way of doing it. Yeah. I don't know if it is or not, but he flies really huge helicopters very well, much better than I'll ever get. So I'll take his word for it. Okay, so let's just get a little bit of Loctite on there. What he recommends actually is to spread the Loctite with your fingers. I don't know. It just seems like it's too much. I guess maybe when you're working on the big helicopters that have like crazy head speed, running like 24 cell packs and shit, you know, then it might be good to go a little, be perfect with your Loctite. But for me, I think that's fine. So these move perfectly, nice and easy. Alright, it already has the ball links now. I don't know if I'm supposed to Loctite. I guess I would have to Loctite these two. Pain in the ass. I just have to use needle nose pliers. I don't really have a thing for this. It's gonna scratch it probably just a tad. Right, but it's metal on metal. Anything metal on metal, Loctite it. It's wash plate length, you know, basically, you know, make sure it's in the middle of the